Hi, my name is Johnny Ross Tatum and I'm an organiser at the Universal Basic Income Lab Network. So a universal basic income is a regular and equal cash payment that everyone gets every week with no conditions attached on how you spend it. So it's a bit like the child benefit or the state pension, except it's paid to all adults. So after World War II, our country created the National Health Service to guarantee healthcare for everybody at all times. So now is surely the time to introduce a universal basic income to guarantee a basic level of financial security for everybody, no matter what happens. So that would mean, whatever happens, you can fall back on your UBI. Just like the NHS, there's no means testing, no bureaucracy, nobody falls through the cracks, everyone who needs support will get it, and nobody who needs support will be told that they're not eligible for it. And with wealth inequality at the highest levels in the UK since the start of World War II, a UBI would help to build a fairer, less unequal country too. One where nobody should have to rely on a food bank to eat or become homeless because they can't pay their rent. And a UBI would be a vital income boost to millions of lower and middle income households across the country, many of whom are just one unexpected payment away from debt. And higher earners will simply pay this back in tax. And trials around the world have shown that a UBI works. It's reduced stress and improved mental health, it's helped people set up businesses and to grow them, it supports people doing vital unpaid work like caring for loved ones, and it boosts local economies as people have more money to spend on their high streets and in their local businesses, which is even more important as we recover from this crisis. And yes, people will still work with a UBI. This myth that people wouldn't work with a UBI has been thoroughly debunked by every single UBI trial so far, including a recent one in Finland. So what would a UBI look like? Well, there's a case for a short-term high-level UBI to help stimulate our economy, but long-term permanent proposals are generally between £60 to £150 a week for an adult and between £40 to £80 a week for every child. Now this would either be on top of existing benefits or higher amounts would allow you to replace some benefits. A housing and disability benefit would remain in all cases. And all UBI proposals would significantly reduce poverty and child poverty, they would boost incomes for lower and middle income households, while higher earners would pay it back in tax. And we can pay for it by tackling the high levels of inequality that exist in our society. So we can use progressive income tax rates so that those with the most will pay the most towards a UBI. And we can also look at closing some of the 1,156 tax loopholes and reliefs that currently exist and cost the taxpayer hundreds of billions of pounds a year, and many of these disproportionately benefit the wealthiest members of society. And we could also introduce a modest carbon tax to help us tackle the climate emergency, and also use the revenues to fund the UBI. And remember, poverty and financial insecurity also have huge costs, particularly for our health and our economy, and a UBI would help to reduce some of these costs in the long run. So the idea of a universal basic income has been gaining traction across this country and across the world. In the UK, opinion polls show that a majority of people now support it, and it's been backed by over 100 politicians in the UK from 7 different political parties, including the leader of the SNP, the Lib Dems, many Labour MPs, including city mayors, and even a Conservative MP, Sir Edward Lee. But we need more MPs to back it. So get in touch with your MP and urge them to back it too. Because the time is now for a universal basic income. We live in a time of increasing financial insecurity. Millions are only one unexpected payment away from debt, and a UBI can help us meet this challenge. It would ensure that everyone in every community can share in our economic recovery, and it would be a foundation of financial security for everyone in a fairer, less unequal country in the future. So if you're interested in this idea, I urge you to check out the UBI Lab Network, to join a local UBI lab, or if there's not one where you are, we can help you set up your own. Thank you very much.